Hey, good afternoon. This is Paul Zagman here with Lasco Ford. I just wanted to take the time to really go over in depth the Focus RS that's finally brought here to the U.S. We've got a few options to go over. More importantly, we're going to be taking a look at the exterior design and styling. We're going to go over performance exclusive to the RS. I'm going to be going over a few different exclusive things to the RS in regards to the all-wheel drive system, the torque vectoring system, the engine itself. What's different in this 2.3 liter, and kind of move forward from there. So let's just get started on the exterior and take a look at some of the unique things that the 2016 and 17 Ford Focus RS brings to the table. Now this is the highest performance Ford Focus ever built in the world, period, to date. So Ford is definitely not just a class leader, it's even out of class, still leading and really bringing the punch to the table. So let's talk about the front of the vehicle just to start out with. This is going to be a bi-xenon HID headlamp that's going to have an LED running light up top with a black inlay behind it, just giving it a really aggressive look to it. If you almost have like an animal feature to the vehicle that is just a prowling stance to it. A huge open front area here for not only your fog light down on this side, but it's actually got a ventilated system here to bring a cooling air over to your braking system, that you're going to have your 4-piston Brembo brake calipers on the front with your 13.8-inch rotors. Huge open mouth here, and you're going to need it for the airflow that's going to be going into this 350 horsepower Focus, because what we've got up front is a massive intercooler down below here, and unique to the RS, we've got a lower chin spoiler on the front of this valance here as well. A huge open mouth for your condenser radiator, being able to consume as much airflow as possible to keep the turbine as cool as possible and really just give a good breathing approach to the vehicle, but it also looks extremely aggressive. So if you want that tuner feel and that tuner look, well, the Ford nailed it on this one. Let's take a look at the wheel package and tires on the exterior too, because they didn't really hold back on anything. You're going to be running on a Michelin, and this Michelin is going to be a Pilot Super Sport, and this is going to be how we put the power to the ground, and that is definitely needed with 350 pound-feet of torque as well. You saw the 4-piston Brembo brake calipers. You see the rotors are the 13.8-inch massive, just massive rotors on this car. Now you've got a turn signal that's going to be on the side view mirror here. Those are a heated mirror with this package that we've got here. Intelligent key access is going to be on the vehicle. So keys in my pocket, we're simply going to grab the door and it's going to be able to open for you without having to insert a key or even hit your remote. This one is going to be in the nitrous blue color, which has got a ton of metallic. You got to come in and see some of this metallic too. It's unbelievable. So it's like, honestly, it's like a blue bass boat. They put so much of that pearl flake and metallic flake into it that it really just pops out at you. A lot of the magazines really don't put that out there the way that it is. When you get to see it in person, it's gorgeous. Now let's talk about a couple other things too. You're going to see the side rocker panel cover here is going to be pushed out more than any other Focus as well. So on the RS, they want to continue that aggressive stance and profile all the way around the car, from the front aggressive approach to the side approach too, and that's going to divert some wind for you as well and reduce that drag coefficient that you're going to expect with the car. Going up top, the spoiler that's up top is just huge, but it's done right to not be a giant gull wing on top of the vehicle, and they do a black inlay in the center of it too, just to give it a different look and to kind of tie in some of the black features of the vehicle. When we take a look at the rear valance on the vehicle too, and the bumper cover here, you're going to see this is going to be a rear air diffuser and a class exclusive or a Focus exclusive in the RS to have the dual exhaust coming through the back. So you're going to have one here and one followed up on the other side. Now there's so much more to this car than just the looks. We've got a backup camera as standard, and you're going to see Ford really paid attention to most of the safety features as they typically do. And there's even been a couple rumors of, well, can this car produce more? Ford is producing a ton of power, 350 for torque and horsepower. But yes, there is capabilities for more. They just wanted to focus on the safety features as well of the vehicle to be able to safely drive this vehicle. And with 4 driving modes that we're going to get into here in just a few minutes, you're going to be able to see that. Let's take a look at one other wheel package that's offered with this vehicle. Actually, if you just follow me to another RS that we have here in the showroom at Lasco Ford, let's go take a look at this. This is going to be a stealth gray. instead of the nitrous blue. Let's take a look at the secondary wheel option. Follow me. Well, here's the other option for wheels. So now we saw the standard wheel that's going to be coming on the RS. This is going to be the upgraded forged 19-inch wheel that Ford is offering on the RS. And what this did is you're going to take a look, and they're going to call this more of a Y spoke. So you're going to see that spoke come out and then split off. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Y spokes on here, giving you 10 total spokes. And honestly, I love the black because it really makes that Brembo caliper pop again on your vented rotors. Just taking a look at this wheel, we're going to show you a few things on the interior from here. And not just the interior, but the interior of what's important, what's underneath the hood of this vehicle in the 2.3 liter twin scroll turbo, and what's changed from this motor, the 2.3, being taken from the Mustang going into the RS. And we're going to point out some of those features so you're more informed and more engaged with what you're looking at getting into. And as you can see, they're not lasting long. We've already got a sold tag in this one, and it's been here less than 72 hours. So looking forward to showing you a couple more details. Let's take a look under the hood. So now we want to talk about a few things underneath the hood. This is going to be a 2.3 liter, 4-cylinder, dual overhead cam, twin scroll turbo. So what's different between this motor when it was first introduced at 310 horsepower in the Ford Mustang in 2015? Well, going into 16 and going into the RS, there's a few things that they've changed. You can't really see a whole lot because you have this big cover in the way, but it's impressive. So we're going to remove that so you get a little bit better view of what's going on underneath here. So we've got a carbonate intake, you've got a cold air induction here that's going to be running towards the back side of where your twin scroll turbo is. Now, what have they changed to get that extra 40 horsepower out of this vehicle and produce 350 pound-feet of torque? Well, on the twin scroll turbo, they've changed out the turbo on the impeller to produce a bit more boost. Also, the material and the composition that is on the heads of the vehicle, that's going to be a little bit different for you too. And then your cylinders, the actual cylinders are sleeved now on this engine, producing that 350 horsepower and that 350 pound-feet of torque. Now, what good is all this torque if you can't put it to the ground? Well, that was exactly the question that Ford answered with the RS. And they've noticed, you know what, on the track, it's almost more fun to drive a front-wheel drive car. So to really do this, the ST, for example, and amplify it to the 350 horse, we really had to have an enthusiastic and engaging driving experience, and this was the solution. So they put the 350 horsepower, they put the 350 foot-pounds of torque into this vehicle, and now made it just as fun to drive an all-wheel drive as it is to drive the front-wheel drive that ST has represented for years. And how do they do that? Well, a torque vectoring system is a big part of how we deliver that power from the front engine all the way around. Well, a big part of that is your rear drive unit. So the rear drive unit is going to be how we disperse from your transfer case to the back rear axle, and in that rear axle you're going to have twin electronically controlled clutch packs on either side of your rear drive unit. What that's going to allow the engine to do is produce that 350 horsepower, but be able to send up to 70% of 350 horsepower to the rear drive unit. Now, what does that rear drive unit do? It takes that 70% of 350 horsepower and it can deliver up to 100% of that to one wheel. When would you use that? Well, we would be using that coming out of a corner. You're going to want the outside rear wheel to have as much power as possible because this car is able to pull a full lateral G. So when we're going into that corner, we want to deliver that power to launch us out of the corner and continue accelerating forward. To do that, our twin electronically controlled clutch packs on our rear drive unit throw that power to the outside wheel. Up to 70% of what that engine produces can go to that one tire to launch you out of that corner. Huge, huge improvements. That is really what they're talking about when they say torque vectoring system. Makes all the sense in the world, but now it's controlled and it's more fun to drive, and it is, I'm telling you, more than enthusiastic. I almost have to sit on my hands to keep from clapping. I get so excited when you're behind the wheel of this vehicle. Speaking of that, I'd like to take a look at the interior and see some of the dynamic changes that the RS is bringing to the table to make this more of an engaging drive and really a driver-centered interior that's so easy to use that you'd be surprised. It's simple touching of buttons and really not having to do a whole lot. The car thinks for you up to 100 times per second how to maximize your driving quality. Let's take a look inside. Now that we're taking a look at the inside, Ford has done more than, just engineer an awesome vehicle here. I mean, this thing is ridiculous, but taking a look at the interior, they actually listen to what the customer wants. 90% of the vehicles that Ford's produced with this, the Recaro seat, badged with RS and blue stitching. Of course, it's gorgeous with suede inserts and leather. Other things with it, well, most of them are manual. Check this out. Yeah, power. That's what I'm talking about. Why? Because I'm 5'7" and I can't reach anything, right? So this vehicle actually is super easy to drive, but now it's even more comfortable. Yeah, it gives you a little hug every time you take a seat, and it should, because this thing will throw you from left to right like you're in the cockpit of a fighter jet. So why don't you take a look at the inside and some of the driving modes with us. Let's see what we can take a look at together. Come on in. So when we take a look at the vehicle on the interior of it, right, you're going to see a couple buttons. Okay, now this, everybody talks about this, but the nice thing with it is we've got a heated steering wheel. We've got different drive modes that we can select. Now, what are these different drive modes and what do they do? Well, we've got a sport mode, which, so you have, let's start out with normal mode. Normal mode is, yes, obviously it's a sport tuned suspension. Yes, it's going to be quick. It's going to be very agile. When you go into the sport mode, well, it can change your dampeners on the vehicle to give you a little bit more enthusiastic drive. Now, that's going to be the acceleration, not being as restricted on the yaw movement of the vehicle. And when we go into the track mode, okay, so that's the third one. You've got normal, you've got sport, you've got track. Track really lets loose and lets some of your traction control give you a little bit more wheel spin, give you a lot more yaw, just a lot more of a controlled, well, more of releasing the beast. It is literally made for an experienced driver to be out on a track, not recommended to an amateur driver in this vehicle. But they even did a flat bottom steering wheel on this too. Faster turns going through the corners, but you've still got a huge touch of luxury with it, doing, well, heated seats, heated steering wheel, do a climate control, it's digital climate control. And then up top, this is some of my favorite stuff, is going up here with your three different, your gauge pod that's going to be up above your productivity screen here, and all with the comfort of a Sony jamming sound system. So yeah, you can have a great day at the track and jam your favorite band at the same time. Another LCD productivity screen up here. This is going to be with the Sync 3 technology that Ford is bringing to focus in this vehicle. USB ports too, so you can charge your phone at 100 miles an hour on the track if you'd like, and do this all with voice command. It's unbelievable to be able to control a vehicle like this. And my favorite, and the last one for the driving mode, is drift mode. So drift mode is exclusive to this vehicle with Ford right now, but literally pushing the drift mode is going to allow you to well, drift the car, just like you see with people like Ken Block, you know, whipping a Focus around until he blows the tires out of it. That is just as easy as clicking your drift mode button and being able to release the 350 horsepower and literally spin and spin and spin tires until you hit the rim. A nice thing with this car too is all this power, typically you get a lot of understeer with front wheel drive. With an all-wheel drive platform like we've got in this vehicle, it really eliminates a lot of that understeer too. With this much power, it's hard to control the front of a front-wheel drive vehicle to be able to put that power to the ground, and that's where Ford nailed it on the torque vectoring system too, to be able to take 350 horsepower, be able to put it all to the ground and actually use it all. And that's what Ford's been great with, is not just delivering the numbers that everybody wants to hear, it's actually delivering the torque and getting that down to the ground and not losing it throughout your drivetrain. That's a huge part of how Ford produces vehicles, and not just a best in class. This has destroyed the class that it's in, and it also will, it's going to be a little bit of fun to embarrass the guy next to you with a $120,000 supercar that you outhandle on the track and smoke at a 0 to 60. This is pretty impressive. Yeah, let's take a listen to the exhaust, and let's go from there. See what your thoughts are on the pops and burbles that Ford put into this vehicle too. So hard acceleration here in that burble, and then the pop as you're letting off the accelerator. Let's check it out. Let's take a look at it. So obviously you heard a couple of the exhaust notes there. Major thing is with a car like this, with your exhaust valve that is on this vehicle, when you're under a load or actually moving the vehicle, accelerating and decelerating, you're going to hear that pop and burble quite a bit more. And the nice thing about that too is, I mean, all the way from Cologne, Germany, where the car is built, to here now at the showroom of Lasco Ford, we've been through quite a few of these RSs already, and we are not afraid to step up when it comes to Ford racing and Ford performance. With twin screw superchargers on our 5-liter GT Mustangs and F-150s. Performance is what we are here to discuss, talk about, and answer any questions that you may have. Feel free to give us a call, shoot us an email, definitely subscribe to this video, and take a look at what we've got in our inventory, but feel free to just ask the questions. We're here to help, and hopefully you found this video useful to you, and if the RS is right for you, take a look at our website. It's www.lascoford.com, or give us a call at 810-629-2255. This is Paul Zagman at Lasco Ford. We appreciate you watching.